Welcome back to the madness, guys, and welcome back to another video on how you can make gold in World of Warcraft rather quickly just by doing some old raids. Now, there's only really one trick to this one, and that's to do Highmaul in all three difficulties. Almost every boss fight is a burst. There's only one confusing one, and that's Tectus. And yes, Highmaul in Warlords of Draenor. Several bosses, lots of loot. I can't really call this one too quick because there is a bunch of like RP event things. But Highmaul is located in Gorground, which is also cluttered in my map. I probably should turn on this off this add-on for it. So yeah, you'll either be coming from Frostfire Ridge, right around here where your garrison is, or Shadowlands Valley, right over here, where my garrison is over here because I'm Alliance. And yeah, here's a flight path right here, and you know what? There, that fixes everything. Yeah, I should have just been doing this from the beginning. So yeah, this is where you'd fly in on the Alliance. The Horde has like a flight path over here. I probably should show that in at some point, but anyway, let's keep a note of my gold right here, because we'll be checking it at the end of the video to see exactly how much gold I make doing this dungeon. Now, like I said, this dungeon has a stupid amount of RP. If I recall timing it, I think there's like just 6 or 7 minutes of nothing but RP. But you run through the dungeon so goddamn quickly otherwise. And just going through all these bosses. Tectus would be the only annoying one, but it's pretty much burst, 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 burst. And just show you some of the like interesting transmog you can get here. Because again, this entire thing probably doesn't need a video, but just if anything, just to show people who don't know what's going on, the pathing. So it's actually a pretty cool shield, and I don't have that shield. If your shield needs horns and spikes, come here, guys. Also, yeah, this dagger is pretty cool. Not that particular version of it. I think the heroic and the normal form dagger is pretty cool. Oh, and I like this sword. It's kind of piratey. Now, I would just cut through a lot of this stuff and everything, but I want to show you guys exactly how long it would take and whatnot. Although it's probably going to take longer than expected just because I'm talking a lot. I've noticed doing these videos, I take a little bit extra time to explain things. So, all I can do now is wait for the RP to finish. So, gotta have that dance off to save the universe.
Scream his name and bash his skull for the Shadow of Highmaul, champion of games, Falkendo!
Also, keep note that this very first guy that you encounter right here is just like an RP battle. The only interesting thing about him is that the ogres will eventually put a shield on him, which will make him completely like immune to damage or just take really low damage if they don't die, but they die pretty quickly anyway. And sometimes you can just burst him down without any problem anyway. But look how stupid this is. The elevator took like 30 seconds to come up. It took him like a minute to come out. Then you have to wait like another minute of RP here just to get to Kargath. But after this, the RP slows down quite a bit and you kick off hard.
You honor us, Kargath. I will enjoy watching you fight in the arena again, even with your handicap. The pleasure is mine. The crowd deserves a superior gladiator.
You hear that? Superior gladiator.
One fell so easily. Gladiators, seize this opportunity.
You know what? I'm gonna try to do this without even looking at my action bars and just be in like complete toggle UI off mode, because it's just gonna go by so quickly. Okay, here we go. And pew.
You owe me a fight.
damn sucker. And then there's this more RP. Now you could watch this RP, but I'm going to skip it. Because this video is already going to be RP heavy as it is. And look at all the items you get in here. Now, just to show you the pathing, we're going to go basically down this way, hit the butcher, then down, hit this fungus guy, then back up, and get Tactus, and then go into the next area. Now, technically you can skip Tactus, and I always do, because he's not that bountiful when it comes to what he can drop. It's mostly a bunch of like necks and stuff. There's like a couple of weapons that if you're lucky, but I always found the time it took to do him not worth the amount of money he could possibly make. So there's some pigs here in front of Butcher that you can just completely ignore and just go for Butcher. The amount of pigs that you encounter depends upon what difficulty you're on. 3 for the highest, 1 for the lowest. Butcher is literally no problem so long as you can burst him down. If you're not 120 or maybe closer to level 110 without any even heirlooms, you might actually have a slight problem in here. But at 120, no problem at all, just bursting them down. Then we head down this way to the fungal giant. And you can literally ignore most of the fighting mobs and everything. And I usually, not this way. I screwed up. I go on the other side of the mushroom and just walk around the side and just come up here and just poke the guy. Gotta burst! You know, the idea for this boss is also to stay off the green and everything, stay out of stuff, but you literally could just burst through him. And this isn't just because I'm 390 or anything. In fact, you'll notice that when you're going through these Warlords of Draenor dungeons, that in the Mythic difficulty, you're doing the same damage as you would like in BFA to a degree. Or at least devious. I don't know. The meter's always weird in here because sometimes I'll burst somebody down and it's like, you did like 40k or something. 439k or some crazy stuff. Mostly just because everything dies so quickly. Now that pack of trash is kind of annoying because there's a guy that'll pull you with a train, but chain. But you can just, if you're a dot class, just run. Otherwise, just AoE everything down. Now here's Tectus, and it's literally a bunch of guys coming together to make Rock Guy. And this is just another RP one that just takes forever to go through, which is why I skip. Because again, he only drops like necklaces and rings and stuff. Which, well, not only, he does have a few staffs, but they're not really exactly the best looking staffs in my opinion, so start the fight with a trinket. And I'm just gonna, technically you're supposed to just walk out of these, because even at 120, you can see they start like actually doing a decent amount of my hit points. I think they actually hit you for HP percent total over actual set amount of damage. And just dot him up, because he goes from 1 to 2, I think from 2 to 6 or 4. As you can see, you can't just like kill him. You just gotta wait for the phase to like phase out. So annoying. But basically, just walk around the room in a giant circle and you won't get hit by it. And like this is where, yeah, we got 5. Now I'm in the corner. Oh god, and there's a bunch of spikes that I'm actually taking damage, but he's dead, so it goes, what, 1, 2, 5. and you've cleared him, and you get the loot, and all this is hardly worth anything. I mean, let's take a look here. 2018. Yeah, I've probably made about maybe 100 gold. Maybe. And with that, we've cleared all 3 of them. Now remember, the path is pretty much Butcher, Fungal Guy, and then Tectus. And then you can go through this little portal, and you head up to the next one, guys. Woo! Already almost done with the fight. We only got like 3 more bosses. There's only like 6 of the bosses in here anyway, but... And for this one, you have to kill all these guards. So I hope you're a ranged class with like some kind of dot that can just tap and walk. Otherwise, if you're like a warrior, it's gonna be really annoying. Because you gotta walk up and just start aggroing everything. Luckily, I'm a druid. And druids, they just have a really fun time in these dungeons because they can go pretty fast. Now there's 2 bosses here, they share a health pool, so what I'm gonna do is just throw the Starfall out and then dot them both up. And then burst them down. If you take a little longer on this fight, it'll just have fire around the room. I've never actually had too much of an issue or encountered something that'll just kill me, like a stun lock, then beat to death. And then you run up the staircase into the next set of trash. Now these ogres all have different elements. These 2 here on the side are fell, and they do not move unless you silence them. So I usually just dot one up, then move to the next one, and everybody else will come gathering a bunch. Just AoE them down. I'm kind of casually just starfalling my way through stuff here. Yep, and then he goes to the middle, and then he does his little prey thing, and then he dies. Can't remember exactly what the prey thing is about, but it hardly seems to negate any amount of damage, and then you get probably the most amount of money in the entire dungeon run right here. By the way, if you skip Tectus and do this entire dungeon, you'll fill like 130 slot bag. If you do him, you'll have like a little bit extra. I think you only get like maybe 32-ish items or something out of all this. And really making an insanely good time here. I mean, even with my chitty chatty. Despite having like 4 to 7 minutes, I can't remember. I timed it at one point and I thought it was insane. But I think it's about 7 minutes worth of RP. You literally run through the dungeon in like less than 10. Out of all the Warlords of Draenor, this is probably one of the fastest, and it's also probably one of the lesser money makers because of that. I honestly think that depending upon difficulty, I almost felt like there's like no money difference between every difficulty in any one of these things. All the money always ends up being the same, which is why I only show you like one run and then count the money at the end. Okay, skip these guys. Well, they can't really skip. You skip the guys at the beginning of the place and kill this. Now, this encounter will be different if you have it on Mythic or not. If you don't have it on Mythic, he won't be flying like he is now. Instead, he'll be sitting at that throne in the background, and there'll be a line of ogres right in front of him. You could technically kill him without ever even aggroing the other guys and burst him down before he goes into the air like this, but I'm just gonna burst him down from this point. The silly thing about this one is it's another one of those, no matter how much damage you do, he always does the phases. He goes up in the air and does stupid. If you were able to kill him before he actually goes up in the air, he will skip the phases, but at a certain point, as he's flying up in the air, he becomes immune to damage. And basically, you just got to deal with all the ads. There'll be 2 mages spawning by the door. on her mythic difficulty, you'll always have to go through at least 2 of these in the air phases, and one of them it will have an extra like melee mob. But right now, these guys like do so little damage and whatnot. I'm just gonna dance this away. Blind Starfall. By the way, if you're wondering how I'm just casting Starfall without the place ground effect thing, I have a place at me macro set up. You can probably look that up. Otherwise, editing me will just throw it in around here at some point, if you like the idea of a Starfall that you don't have to target and will always just be placed like wherever you're standing as its epicenter. But as you see, he's been at like 1 hit point, and he's going up again to do another phase. Now, it's not like I just danced away 1 phase. And this is the extra melee mob. He barely does anything. Get burnt. Yeah, I can't even build resource off attacking him, so just gonna dance until he's done. Still powering up. This should be the thumbnail of the video right here. But because this is one of those money guide videos and whatnot, it'll have the money guide video with thumbnail that I normally do. Okay, let's clear some of this. He's down. And once this phase starts happening, a bunch of what are these pale orcs come running in. But Shadowlands, who is the real end boss of Mythic. In any other difficulty, this is not a problem because you do not fight with Shadowlands. So you gather everything up together, AoE it together, and now you can actually build resource off the King guy, Ogre King, in preparation to fighting Shadowlands. If anything, I'd say burst here on Mythic, as opposed to every other thing, but Shadowlands doesn't really have that much hit points. And voila, there we go. You can never escape. Well, look, there's a portal right there, and I'm going right out. Later, suckers. Alright, now we can actually cash in. And let's see how much money we make. We had, what, 2,520 when we started? Generally, doing a run of this gives you about 1,500, maybe 1,600 gold. So let's see how much we get here, and we're at 4,184. Compared to the 2,520 at the beginning, that gives us about 1,664-ish total in net worth. So if you do that all 3 times, you'll get about almost 5k. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe leave a like. I don't know. I'm not your dad. Can't tell you what to do. Hope you enjoyed these, because this ends our Warlords of Draenor. So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.